Jerusalem. This is the gospel according to Demarius, and we get to tell the best gospel of them all, the gospel of the resurrection. But before we get there, let's recap. What do we know so far? So, Jesus, same Jesus who is born of the Virgin Mary, who is the son of Joseph, same Jesus born around Christmas time. Same Jesus who was baptized and recognized as the Son of God. The same Jesus who began his ministry, where he was healing the sick and he was feeding the thousands and he was curing the blind and making the lame to walk. Transfiguration, walking on water, and even raising the dead. This same Jesus, pay attention to this phrasing here, this same Jesus had just come into Jerusalem about a week ago. This same Jesus was lauded and hailed as he was coming in the name of the Lord with all of the praises. This same Jesus was betrayed by his friend. This same Jesus was arrested. This same Jesus was unjustly tried, unscrupulously convicted, and unmercilessly sentenced to death at the hands of the state. This same Jesus, that same Palestinian Jew, at this point in our story, is gone. And just passed on a Friday. But beginning on a Sunday morning, the Marys were on their way to the tomb. Why they have to wait until Sunday? Well, according with the Sabbath tradition, they couldn't do no work or anything else on the Sabbath day, which was the day before. But on their way to the tomb on their early Sunday morning, they're asking themselves, who is going to roll the stone away for us so we can go and honor our dead friend? Imagine the shock and horror on their face when they get to the tomb and the stone is rolled away. Think about this. You are on your way to the gravesite of your dearly departed loved one who was just brutally murdered right in front of your eyes, just to pay honor only to see their grave desecrated. They look in, but when they look in, they don't see the body, but instead they see two glowing men, one at the head and one at the foot. And they both say to the women, "Why are you here? And why do you look for the living among the dead?" This same Jesus is not here. No, he is risen. Remember what he told you. Go and see where he laid, and then go to tell the other disciples. And they ran. I love how the ministry and the sensitivity of Jesus always reveals his true nature to a woman first. First revealed to a woman at the foretelling of his birth, in his actual birth. First miracle at the hands of a woman. The intimate moments of his ministry were always spent with the women first. And it was the women who were the first to hear the good news, and it was the women who were first disbelieved by the disciples. The same ones who walked with this same Jesus the whole way through. So they ran, and they ran to the tomb, and the Marys followed. Peter and John, they looked in, they saw the clothing and saw nothing, and they left. Mary, mother of Jesus, she left. Mary Salome, she left, but Mary Magdalene, she stayed and she wept and she cried. Why? Because the only person who had ever shown her any kind of loving kindness or human decency was gone. And when she looked into the tomb, she then saw those same angels, and they're like, "Why are you crying?" And in so saying, she said, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." And as she wept, she heard another voice walking there in the garden. And the voice said, "Woman, why are you crying? Who is it that you are looking for?" In her confusion and hysteria, she looks up, she says, "Sir, if you are the one who has taken away my Lord, please tell me where you have laid him that I may go and honor him." And in a calm voice, he said, "Oh, Mary." And in that moment, she recognized exactly who she was talking to, and she ran to cling to him, crying, "My master." But he said, "Mary, don't cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. But go to my brethren and tell them that I am going to your God and to my God, to your Father and to my Father. Now go." Now the 12, at some point here in the story, they're all assembled in the upper room, the same upper room you're going to hear about maybe in another story. Might be for me, might be for somebody else. We don't know. And in that moment, Christ appeared to them and said, "Peace be with you." And them shocked, he said, No, I'm not a spirit. Look at me, look at my hands, look at my feet, look at my side. For spirits don't have flesh and bones as I do. But one of them was missing. Well, actually two. We just lost Judas like back there on Thursday, but we have to understand that even Judas served a purpose. Because it's but for Judas's actions, though we do not like them, they're the ones that give us the opportunity to tell this story right now. But the other disciple, Thomas, he had to go on a side quest or something. I really do not know. But he was the only one who was not there. And the disciples, when he had returned, told him, they said, no, Jesus is here. We've seen him. And Thomas is like, yeah, right. I'll see it and believe it with my own eyes. Only for Christ again to appear in that upper room and say, Thomas, look upon me, see my hands, see my feet, touch my side. Look upon me and believe. And in Thomas, in that moment, he said, oh, my Lord and my God, because he was able to believe it for himself. But then Jesus said the most profound statement. He said, you see me and you believe. But blessed are those that have not seen me and yet believe. And all the while, Christ is revealing himself to people after people after people after people, which I tend to believe that that was Christ's way of saying, hey, you will bear witness to the fact that there is no power on earth that can raise you from out of a dead situation, because look at me. And to jump a little bit further ahead into the story, because we got to get there after these next 40 days, they all then met on the mountain. And in that moment, Christ said, all authority has been given to me in heaven and in earth. So now go ye therefore to all nations, not just some of them, not just the ones you like, but to all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all the same things that I have commanded you, to love God and to love people. And lo, I'll be with you always, even to the end of time. And he was taken on up. But while they were watching up into the sky as he's heading on his way up there, there's two other angels who are still there on the ground. And they say, why do you stand here gazing into heaven? This same Jesus that you've come to know, this same Jesus who was born, who lived, who died, and was resurrected, and now is in the sky, shall return in like manner. Now go. That's the gospel according to Demarius.